A lot of you guys are wondering the best power-ups that you should have on your squad right now as we end off with Madden 19, which I can't wait till it's all over. And we're going to talk about some of those things right now, primarily looking at the way my squad is actually constructed right now. Some of you guys still don't really understand the purpose of what these rising stars were doing. And ideally, all they do is add an excessive amount of whatever scheme you want. So like this guy is like ×6, zone run, whatever. That's why I'm able to have multiple things going on in addition to my Legends chemistry. All right. So for those of you guys that want to know more about that, you're going to have to go through the playlist, go back earlier in the year because everything is all sequential. So you'll be able to find all the information that you need and want about Madden 19 right here at GmiasWorld. So looking at the team overall, right? What are the cards that matter the most? Offensively, defensively, however you want to look at it, right? It depends on the type of game you play. Today, I actually played a bunch of idiots that, for the most part, they were able to get unbelievable blocking and run dive plays. Now, dive plays has been something that's really hurt Madden for a long time because what happens is because a lot of the things don't matter, like I'm going to go to my defensive side of the ball. I just want to go and clear this up so that doesn't keep coming up. What happens is this, right? When you're trying to stop a dive, let's go to the D tackle right now when we're talking about the best power-ups to do right now. We're going to go to D tackle, right? And we're going to start off with Mean Joe Green. Now, I'm going to click on him. We're going to just zoom into his stats, compare him. Let's see what's going on. Now, this gentleman right here has out of my way and secure tackler. 85 speed, that's all BS. That's all chem. I don't care about what anybody's saying. It's all garbage. It doesn't matter. But listen, though, right? The honest thing about what I'm about to tell you, you see how he has a 99 strength and Alan Page has an 89? You know what's interesting about that? It doesn't matter. Like Alan Page would get the same animations that Mean Joe Green gets, and it doesn't matter how strong he is based on the impact of the player that's going against him. And what happens is, a lot of you guys, like you might see things that are tweeted out where people are showing that a wide receiver is blocking a D tackle on a run. And it's like, yo, what's going on? That's because the way the game is designed, right? So if you're looking for a D tackle that you want to power up right now, I like Mean Joe Green because even though he's like not as fast as Alan Page when Alan Page is chemmed up or whatever, or it's because like Alan Page is that light where he's able to just move around and make plays, he's still... You could feel his presence on the line is just not as impactful as the numbers show, if that makes any sense. Like, none of the cards that you ever get in this game are going to show the actual, like, bruh, like, this card is really, really impactful, just depending on the person that you play. Because if you play a guy that doesn't care, you're probably going to lose the game. And that's just brutal honesty. You're probably going to lose the game because he's going to do things that you've never seen before. He's going to throw the ball in the quadruple coverage. He's going to throw slant routes right into a linebacker that's like underneath the route. EA is going to do an animation where he punches your guy in the face, stiff arms him down, and runs it for 6. So those things are going to happen regardless of what the stats and the traits are for your players. Let me give you an example. And I want all of you guys to try this out, right? Calvin Johnson. Some of you guys are wondering, like, yo, Gmia, do I still think he's the best wide receiver in the game? Yes, I do. But the interesting thing about Calvin Johnson is he's already a gold 99. You can chem him to 99, but he's truly very, very slower than that. And I recently played a guy that was just running man coverage, right? He was running man coverage all across the board. Calvin Johnson was one-on-one. Jerry Rice was one-on-one. Everybody was one-on-one. But every time they got the step, when I lobbed the ball, the defender was always in front of Calvin Johnson, Jerry Rice, and Randy Moss. Now, you might say that's just poor programming and the development of the game is trash. And you would be correct in saying that. But that's not what all of this is about. The issue is this, right? He should have a much deeper run if he gets a step. And that's a big issue with the game in general. So do I recommend Calvin Johnson? I think with everything that he has, he still is the best wide receiver in the game. I truly believe that. Because he has spin, he has the height, he has all that stuff. But we have to understand, right? When you're saying, all right, I'm going to go power up Calvin, you got to understand that because of the way the game is, you're going to drop the ball a lot. All right? Your guy is going to get covered by a guy that's like 4'3". You're going to jump up in the air to catch the ball, and the guy behind you is going to pick it. Those things are going to happen regardless because the game is not, it's not really, everything is pretty right now. Like this right here, you can give the EA, like, like as far as visuals and looking at your cards, they can get an Emmy for this. But when you get onto the field, nobody's going to literally do what they're supposed to do. But why? The reason that I'm telling you guys the cards that I use and why I'm using them right now, like as the update that you guys requested, was because these cards can be impactful. They can do things in certain games, but it's not always necessarily going to be the outcome that you desire. All right? So now let's take a look. These two guys right here, Ultimate Legends, primarily very, very cheap cards, and both of them are going to miss blocks. Both of them are not going to make the plays that you need them to make. But let me just say this. They are probably two of the best cards that are available as far as power-ups go. All right? So when you look at Larry Allen, right? And we're going to look at this last aspect of him. Everything pretty much is a 99. So what I like to do with this guy, even though EA gypped him on his speed, what I like to do is I like to run tosses to his side. And you might say, yeah, bro, you can run tosses to any side. But the thing about Larry Allen is you could actually see him out there doing some of the stuff that his card says. Again, it's not always necessarily true that these players are going to do everything that they are assigned to do based on the numbers that they have. I just want to make sure that I'm very, very clear with that. It's not a guarantee. These players are not, without fault. They're going to still do wild stuff. Muniz is going to get dealt with accordingly. This guy right here, dudes are going to scream off the edge like almost it doesn't really matter. Like it's going to be consistent with the stuff that happens with him. And you're going to have to deal with that. It doesn't really matter. Should you power him up? I like, for the most part, like, he does decent things most of the time. Randall McDaniel, the dude's garbage. If I'm able to get rid of him and upgrade with somebody else that I like, maybe. But he also has really good numbers. You know what I'm saying? But, if you look at it, 99 this, 99 that, all of these things, they should contribute to what's going on. So if you're playing against a player that doesn't have the people with the right block shed, the right, the right chemistries, finesse move, whatever, your players should always win. But again, that's not the case in this game. So these players that I have here that I've constructed, for the most part, I'm still waiting on the Willie Anderson. He'll be getting his Ultimate Legend pretty soon. Rob Gronkowski, it's a toss-up with him. Some games he balls out, some games he's terrible. George Kittle, some games he balls out, some games he's terrible. But do I recommend his power-up? Listen. Fastest tight end in the game without having to have 1,000 49er players. So, it works out in that regard. Plus, he's going to get a 99 card, so he'll be at a 99 speed. It'll be chemmed, so it really won't be 99, but it will look pretty to have it. So I would recommend if you don't have him, to get him because he's going to definitely be a 99 speed card. Like, they can't really do much about that going forward. So I would definitely make sure that, you would have that rocking. Jerry Rice, I'm really contemplating on getting rid of him. For those of you guys that have been starting to get your new team captain tokens that are available by playing multiple games with your team captain in your lineup that EA newly released, you might be saying, bro, look at those 99s, dude. They look really, really good. Again, it looks really, really good until you get out on the field. That's when it's like, yo, this game is a total... Bro, I'm going to tell you this right now. This game right here, dog, like... Look, I don't want to say that it'll make a nun strip, but it'll definitely make a nun go work the corner, dog. Like, this game is really, really, it's a bad situation. So, like, I don't want you guys to be too fascinated about the numbers, especially the ones that are in blue. I just want you to know that these cards, it's pretty decent what they do. Franco Harris, he's garbage. Let's go over here and check everybody out. Sean Taylor got Moss for 6. Lawrence Taylor gets blocked by little skinny running backs. Ryan Shazier, all this stuff. Like, these are things that I recommend. Atwater, Ed Reed, I might have to get rid of soon. Mel passed the blunt. Javon Curse, Alan Page, I already showed you. Howie Long, we're waiting for his update. Night Train is garbage, and so is Dion. Let me point something else out also. It's a very, very interesting situation because I started to put Dion as a starter again, and now I realize he has to go back to the slot. He can't be out there in certain plays because for some reason, like I don't know, maybe they nerfed him, but he's not able to play the same way. Granted, if you man him up or put him in a deep blue, nobody's really doing much with him, but he's not the same card. I don't know what they did to him. Something's going on with it, though. And again, I'm very, very hesitant to upgrade Mel Blount using training or whatever, but I know eventually I'm going to have to, so it is what it is. But for the most part, the only reason that I really have his card, you can see he's only a 95 speed, but once I chem him up, I think he goes to a 98. But that also was chem, so he's still going to be pretty slow. He has very, very good press, very, very good zone man coverage. So he's a good, corner. Him, Night Train, they're both very, very cheap. If you were trying to go after them right now, it shouldn't be too much. But Mel Blount has the limited, so you're obviously going to have to use training or buy his limited outright, which is pretty expensive right now. And, Atwater's pretty good. Romanowski, Shazy, I already told you about. So these are cards that I would say you could go ahead and power up. Sean Taylor, like I said, he got mossed for 6. Like the dude threw the ball up in the air, he did a cartwheel, and then he ran it for 6. So is he the best case scenario? I like him a lot. I'm not going to put Brian Dawkins out there over him. So that's pretty much the case with what I'm doing. All right? Those are all of my power-ups. Every single one that I have. If you have further questions about, the cards you should be powering up and why don't I have a backup in here? That's probably why I don't have my other stuff going on. Where is Deshaun Watson with his Go Deep Chem? I don't even know what's going on. Like, why wasn't he in the game? When did EA take him out the game for me? What do I have left over here? Go Deep. 29? All right, so let's make Cam Newton... the tier 4 one because he has 3, but we can make him. We can give him tier 4, right? Go deep tier 4. Make it just be like that, and then that's good right there, and then that's 30 of 30. So just make sure that he's all amped up. Because I was trying to figure out like why wasn't Go Deep there? Now it's there at 30 of 30, and that's another reason. Rising Stars. He could just have all 6 with Go Deep, and that's why it's like that. So like I said, if you have any other questions about power ups, what you should be doing with your team, definitely drop me a line in the comment section. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. Have a good one. One love.